grew up very active. I ran cross country and track both in high school and in college. I mean, I've also coached for 10 years at the high school level. In 2017, I was actually training for a marathon and just felt super worn down, and finally my wife talked me into going to the doctor. They did some testing, decided to put a pacemaker defibrillator in me. During that time, we did a genetic test and found out I have a version of muscular dystrophy, which can either affect your heart or your limbs, and this one affect the electrical system of my heart. November of 2021, Thanksgiving night, I got shocked while I was sleeping by my device, and that kind of started a snowball of events that lasted pretty much all winter, leading to an eventual heart transplant in February of 2022. I remember, after waking up from the heart transplant, first thing was like, oh my gosh, I made it. Like, this is amazing, I made it. And then like my surgeon, I remember him coming in a few hours later, and he says, okay, he's like, I want you out of here in less than a week. And so me at that point, I'm like, okay, you got the new heart, it's beating, like it's time for you mentally to start pushing your body and just getting to work. And I've kind of adapted that mindset ever since that night. When you get the transplant, when you get home from the hospital, you're back at the hospital at Colt the very next day. So you got to learn how to use your heart again, and they push you. I was at one of my appointments back in September, and one of the Colt workers, Lindsay Tucker, was talking to her. I was like, hey, you want to do a 5K with me? And she's like, well, I'm not really ready to do a 5K, but if you want to sign up to do one, I'll do it, because you're going to do it. I really can't have an excuse to back out.
He had talked about wanting, to sign up for a 5K, and he was here for a clinic follow-up. So I'd asked him, I was like, so did you sign up for the 5K? Have you ran it yet? And he said, no. He said, actually, the person I was supposed to run with bailed on me, so I didn't do it. And so he kind of looked at me and he said, why don't you run with me? And, I kind of looked at him, and I'm not a runner. Like, it's one of my least favorite activities. And, I just kind of thought for a second, and I looked at him and I said, you know what? Sure, I'll do it with you, David. I think his perseverance and motivation and drive to get to that level and so quickly after transplant, I mean, he was 9 months out when we ran the race, kind of put into perspective that I really just felt like I wanted to be there to support him. And it was an opportunity that I've never had before in my career, to run a race with a patient, and to say we did it together, that I rehabbed him to this point and we actually crossed that finish line, and could celebrate that victory.
For her to be there, it was really neat. I mean, honestly, for me, it was just tears of joy. One, just being blessed to be able to be alive to do something like that, because without the heart transplant, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So it was neat to have everybody kind of come together and celebrate, in my opinion, a big win.